Killua is one of the most developed characters in the story of Hunter x Hunter. In each arc that passes we can see strong changes in this character. Killua starts as someone repressed, in many ways frustrated and too violent, even for the standards of this world, like when he killed other participants of the Hunter exam for colliding with him after being upset for not being able to beat Netero. This act was practically the same as what Hisoka did when another character collided with him at the beginning of the Hunter exam. That is, clearly Killua still did not control the darkness that we all carry, but that, in his case, is enhanced by the cold and mechanical childhood he had in the Zoldyck family. Little by little, Killua was reflecting on his identity, his purpose in life and what it means to have a correct behavior under the values chosen by him, and not those imposed by his family. This new existence was influenced by characters like Gon, Kaido and Biscuit among others, but a real change would not have been possible only with the help of his friends. That is, as Biscuit explained to him, Killua, despite being strongly attached to Gon and inspired by his charisma and courage, still had dangerous behaviors that could endanger Gon. Gon's example would not be enough to improve Killua's shortcomings. He needed to take control of his life and generate the changes he needed from within himself to achieve a more coherent identity between what he thinks, what he does and what he aspires to. But Killua not only had psychological barriers to overcome because of the hard life he had, Illumi also put the needle of Nen to manipulate his behavior, further worsening the desynchronization between Killua's life code and his behavior in critical moments. It was from Killua's removal of the needle where, in my opinion, we saw Killua's greatest metamorphosis, making him one of the most formidable characters in terms of the potential of his mind, body and Nen. Immediately upon his release, Killua was much more relaxed in different circumstances. He was much more able to take things easy, have fun and thought much more clearly. The confidence he had in himself multiplied several times and this allowed him to exploit in greater depth all the talent he already had, but could not use because of the fear of losing that Illumi's needle generated in him. In previous parts of the story we had already seen that Killua had a prodigious mind and that characters with great experience, such as Biscuit, trusted in his plans. However, it was in the Chimera Ant arc where Killua not only gave advice and reflections on the situation, but directly took much of the command of the team and was the one who created the main strategy to invade the palace of Meruem and split to fight against the royal guards. During the invasion, Killua showed a huge difference in the confidence to fight against enemies stronger than him. For example, we saw him face the 3 royal guards on different occasions, remembering that just feeling the Nen of one of them defeated experienced hunters, but Killua came face to face with both Yuppie, Neferpito, and Poof, and his mental strength never wavered. Moreover, he faced these monsters always analyzing the situation of the others, pondering whether the plan was still working and worrying because he already suspected that Gon was willing to die for his revenge. It was in this period that Killua demonstrated the qualities he was learning from Gon in previous arcs. For example, when he fought against Ikalgo, in the middle of the battle he had the calmness and honesty to say that in other circumstances Ikalgo and he could have been friends. This charisma and frankness destroyed Ikalgo's barriers and he ended up betraying the ants to follow Killua. This ability to win people over is the classic one displayed by shonen protagonists like Gon, but, in general, characters like Killua, more introverted and analytical, do not show such leadership and confidence. However, Killua did not live all those experiences with Gon in vain. He learned and applied the qualities that attracted him to Gon to his own life and managed to make an enemy respect and follow him. The friendship and trust Killua offered to Ikalgo was so strong, that the latter completely rebuilt his life goals and morality. Another moment that I thought was one of Killua's best was during his confrontation with Ramath, right at the moment when he removed Illumi's needle. Here, we saw that Killua was true to his personality but at the same time evolved it. That is, from the beginning Killua was presented to us as someone with more darkness and capacity for violence than an average person. And as I said before, sometimes this darkness dominated Killua and he ended up doing things that didn't necessarily fit his identity. However, in this moment against Ramath, Killua reached a tremendous mental clarity for the first time in his life, and with it he warned his enemy not to continue attacking them or there would be consequences. As his warning was not enough, Killua showed that darkness that he carries inside, but this time completely controlled and focused on an enemy that did not want to back down. Killua's bloodlust was so great that it made the Chimera Ant tremble with terror. Killua did not need to become a copy of Gon to feel at peace with himself. He adopted certain qualities of Gon, but he also kept his own that he already had before. One could even say that he still shows the Zoldyck's Amanzinate presence, but now he is a completely his own version. Just as he was able to control his darkness and apply it only when necessary, Killua also evolved his capacity for kindness in ways we hadn't seen before. For example, When he and Gon were infiltrating NGL to prepare for the invasion of the castle, Killua realized that Neferpitou was manipulating the country's politicians and military with his puppets, and they, in turn, were forcing the citizens to leave their homes to travel to Meruem Castle, where the guards would turn them into chimera soldiers, but in the process the vast majority of people would die. The estimated death toll was in the millions. The tough decision to let those people die for the sake of all humanity was something that was causing enormous discomfort to other characters such as Knuckle and Morel. However, when Killua understood this situation, he immediately explained the problem to Gon and proposed the option of momentarily diverting the mission to defeat Meruem and save Kaido, to save as many people as possible. But Killua did not propose this out of naivety or ignorance of the consequences. He understood that this idea of saving millions of people clashed with the plan of the invasion of the castle, as it put them in danger and alerted the royal guards that there were enemies inside the country. After Gon understood the situation and agreed with its importance, Killua offered to start destroying Neferpitou's puppets and to warn the citizens about the trap they were falling into. This way of thinking and acting by Killua would have been almost unthinkable at the beginning of Hunter x Hunter, when Killua valued his safety and plans above the good of others and above emotions. But by this point, Killua no longer thought only of protecting himself and Gon. He now also considered millions of strangers and was capable of putting his life in danger for them, even though he would never be rewarded. Killua's empathy and charisma were not created when he met Gon, they were enhanced by this friendship, but he already showed excellent qualities at a younger age. For example, he had already created a strong bond with Aluka, someone the rest of the family feared and wanted to use as a tool. But Killua earned the respect and love of both Aluka and Nanika. In addition, the rest of the family already knew that Killua had characteristics that did not fit the assassin profession. Maluki mentioned to Zeno that Killua, despite being the Zoldyck with the most potential in history, was too soft in his behavior. The rest of the family knew it too. Illumi manipulated him so much precisely because he saw the danger of Killua walking away from the family business. Illumi's needle helped Killua stay alive, but it also had another indirect effect. It kept him away from meaningful relationships and true friendships, since as Biscuit said, when push came to shove, Killua would betray his friends. Biscuit didn't know this was due to Illumi's Nen manipulation, but the result is the same. This needle already created strong inconsistencies in Killua's identity from the Hunter exam, to the point that, after being disqualified for murdering an opponent, Kurapika theorized that Killua's behavior was so strange that he was probably being manipulated in some way, and this was before Kurapika knew of the Nen's existence. After the Ant arc, we saw a Killua even more brimming with confidence, leadership and initiative. We saw him confront his worst and deepest trauma, Illumi. And not only that, we saw him stand up to his entire family. This time he didn't just run away from home. This time he made it clear to his family that his stance was different from theirs on the Aluka issue, and that he would stand firm in protecting and freeing her. Again, he put into practice his talents as a strategist to confront all the enemies that stood in his way, Illumi, Silva, Hisoka and the Butlers. This arc of the election of the new president can be said to be the beginning of Killua's new life, one where he created his own Zoldyck faction of which Aluka is also a part, and where he will be much more active in his life decisions. But this new freedom is not only related to the manipulation of the Zoldyck. Killua also freed himself from the shadow of Gon, that is, the friendship of Gon and Killua. Even though it was amazing and helped Killua tremendously in many ways, at the same time it kept Killua in a state of lethargy, and his role consisted only in being a support for everything that Gon wanted to do. Killua himself recognized that he did not know what to do with his life. He had no goals, no dreams. Gon proposed him to stay by his side while he figured it out, but this issue was still pending. Killua could not remain Gon's shadow. He had to build his own identity and his future. And it was during the arc of the president's election that Killua finally created an existence of his own, an existence independent of friends and enemies, and that he will be able to continue helping or confronting other forces when necessary, but this time from the light and darkness originating from Killua. What do you think of this character? Leave me your opinion in the comments and thank you for watching this video.